Hello, Avalor. Welcome back to another episode of The Magic Within, your podcast resource for all things Elena of Avalor. We are coming to you live from our Elena of Avalor Discord server. Don't forget, if you want to join our server, you are more than welcome to come and fangirl with us about all things Elena and more. So the hashtag Elena Kitten continues, and tonight we are talking about the Paw-somely PURRR-fect Jaquin themed episode called Father-in-Chief. For real, we are not kidding around. This was such a clever and very purdy episode. Cat puns hashtag in this episode, cray cray.
Amazing.
So joining me tonight is the rest of the squad from all around the world, your podcast princesses. Lady C, which is me. Hi everyone, it's Chrissy from New Zealand. Lady J.
Hi, it's Jenny from California.
Lady A.
Hi, it's Amelia from Oregon.
Lady G.
Hello, it's Georgia from Greece.
And Lady B.
Hi, it's Becky from Germany.
Woohoo! Okay, Avalorans, get comfy and get ready to listen to our un-fur-gettable podcast episode, right? Meow.
Amazing.
So we're Father-in-Chief, and the story is by Rachel Ruderman and Tom Rogers, written by Cam Beatty and directed by the super awesome Rob Pratt.
And this season starts out with a lot of guest star voice actors for this episode, and as the adorable baby Jaquins, who are voiced by Desmond Gerber, Craig Gerber's son, as Mingo, Gia Lopez, Maria Lopez's daughter, as Estrella, and Max Regal, Sam Regal's son, as Zoom. I think it's so cute that the crew's children are part of this. This is amazing.
Hashtag best job ever.
Yeah! And another one of the great voice actors this episode is the hysterical Mick Wingard as Bruce the Butterfrog. And of course, the unforgettable Grant George as the Sneaky Troyo.
All right, so the episode opens with a beautiful sunset, and we see Miggs and Chief Zephyr kind of land on this cliff, and I think just about everyone in the fandom commented about how Lion King this reminded us. It was very like everything the light touches.
It's our kingdom.
That's true.
It kind of had that feel. I mean, they didn't have that conversation, but
Yeah, like the animation and the atmosphere.
Yes, exactly. The visuals were very like spot on, and I thought it was really interesting. You can see that Chief Zephyr is kind of, I don't know, ruminating on the fact that he's about to retire, and he uses, I love similes and metaphors, and so he talks about how every sun that rises, the sun must also set, and the sun is setting on his time, and to him it's very important that the party, or not the party, sorry, the not party the next day focuses on the rising sun and not the setting one, which is him. So at first when I heard him say that, I was kind of thinking like, oh, he just doesn't want to fuss, and then I kind of realized it was a little bit deeper than that. It was actually like, no, he wanted to focus on the incoming chief and not the outgoing one. So that was kind of cool. So anyway,
Speaking of the surprise party, call off the surprise party. Chief Zephyr, like Becky said, is not wanting any party. So Miggs, of course, being Miggs, is just having an anxiety attack and is freaking out to Luna and Scarla and Elena, who look amazing in their party attire with their party hats. I'm saying that the party is off. The party is off. However, Luna is like, mate, I didn't fly all this way back to the party to be cancelled. And of course, our beloved Elena jumps in to ease his mind with her pearls of wisdom to say, when someone says they don't want a party, they really mean, throw me the best party ever. Well, not exactly in those words, but hey, you should always give 120%, right? Lil.
go big or go home.
Absolutely.
I like their logic.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that is so Elena.
It is.
All right, so finally we come to the morning, the morning, and Miggs really wants to just appreciating the sunrise, going, I really want to be chief, pretty much. And that's when we're reintroduced to our adorable little Jaquin babies who just like fly into a giant pile on their dad. And I absolutely love that. I think, everything with the little Jaquin babies, it's adorable. It's really touchy because then it makes you think, oh, because how cute are the babies. I have to appreciate like how militant Miggs is, even with his own kids. Yeah. I love it. Like, I couldn't get my kids to line up in a straight line like that. But, he's able to, Daddy of the Year award for him.
It's cute.
And now for the Meowsic. Chief Daddy. And wow, that song had been like hinted at and shown ages before the actual release of the episode, and it was so cute. It was worth the wait.
Yes.
Like the baby Jaquins encouraging their dad through this beautiful acronym, and wow, I really loved this one. It was so cheerful and lighthearted, adorable.
So
just
pure, wholesome.
It was just
my
so
heart.
cute.
Yes,
Amelia.
I know. I have a weak spot for kittens, and Jaquins are basically the same thing, but with wings. And so
even better.
My heart.
And pretty colors.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, we all loved the song. I still sing it like every once in a while. Chief Daddy. So as soon as the song like ends, we hear a big old sneeze coming from the cave behind them, and we see that poor Mama Dulce is sick, and she looks miserable. They did a good job of animating her looking miserable, because I felt for her.
She knows she's a mama.
She is. Oh man, and Miggs is like. He just won Father of the Year, right? So now he wins Husband of the Year for just like, oh, well, this is like the biggest day of my career, but I'm going to take the kids to work just to, because you're sick. And that's just so sweet. And I loved it. So
I was actually kind of surprised because it being the most important day for me, I think she would just take one for the team.
Right.
Right. I feel like, you know what? I'm at home anyways.
Like, you know what? We need this promotion. So no. But I also, so the other thing that I really, really loved about this scene, I just remembered, was the way she was just like, Mingo, Estrella, whichever one you are. I do that all the time.
That's very parenting.
It's parenting, but it's also parent of multiples, like, because I have twins. My daughters are twins. Not quite triplets, but oh my goodness.
Close enough.
Yeah, it was so relatable. Like, I was just like, oh, how did they know?
Oh, God. I will say I don't have twins. I just have two. They're like, well,
yeah,
at least 5 years apart. 4 or 5 years. I forget, But I'm constantly calling them by the wrong names, and they actually have to correct me. Like, I don't even catch on. They're like, Mom, do you mean, and I'm like, yes, what I mean.
That would be really helpful.
I don't care.
I mean, that happened to my mom, and my brother was away for like 6 years. So
it's like mommy brain, mommy daddy brain.
Yes.
I would
like
throw in the dog's name.
But we love you.
Explains all the coffee, right?
Oh man, definitely.
All that coffee just to say our kids' names wrong.
Right. Oh, there's no getting away from it.
And of course, with Miggs taking one for the team, he is fashionably late for the ceremony, but he is the babies. But where is babysitter Issa when you need her?
Right.
But how cute was Puppy Miggs telling the kids to behave? Oh my gosh, my heart. When they were like, aye, aye, Chief Pops. It's your special day. Oh, the feels were at all-time high in this so gorgeous episode. So cute.
All right, and you gotta hand it to Elena for being such an awesome babysitter, considering she's gotta like jump right in and babysit like triplets, Jaquins. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But she does try to, on her benefit, she really was trying to get them to behave and distract them, for Mig's day here. But of course, like all Elena plans do, it backfires. And the kids are even worse than before, I have to say. But, good on Chief Zephyr. He just kind of, rolls with the punches here. And, is doing his best to kind of keep everything going. Sorry.
Poor Migs is
totally,
just like mortified. Oh man. So yeah, we see, Chief Zephyr is good natured, he's like, all right, now that everyone's here, and Migs is just like dying of mortification, which again I can kind of relate to.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, so we go inside Commander's Rock, which, remember this from the Shapeshifters episode a while back. And we see all of just all the cool statues and everything. We see Troyo lurking in the background. So we're like, oh, that's our first clue that something's up. And then the kids throw a very typical kid fit. I'm bored. I'm hungry.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's Mingo just yells it and it echoes. And all the other Jaquins are kind of like giving like that glare, which I've also gotten at the grocery store before.
Oh,
but it's just completely outside your control. So I felt for Migs here so much. He's just
Yeah, and so we start with the ceremony for King Zephyr, and we have this cool Jaquin statue of him revealed. But yeah, the kids are still bickering, and that's the parents' nightmare. I'm pretty sure I'm not a parent, but you can feel the embarrassment in Meeks rising. And then, okay, so the thing is that the melon flies across the room and hits King Zephyr in the head. But
It's a good shot.
it is, and the thing is that there's this slow-mo and so much intensity in the moment. Like, you could definitely feel the suspense building.
yeah.
And then you got Zephyr's face, who is clearly annoyed. And and then he leaves to go wash up. But yeah, that was incredibly well done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then poor Migs is now feeling even worse because this is kind of in a way his fault because it's his kids. But Elena was like, no, and she tries to give him one of her famous pep talks and build him back up and try to reassure him. But the kids end up overhearing this and realize that they are the cause of all this trouble, and they feel really bad, and they didn't want to mess this up for their dad, and so now they're like, we gotta do something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Poor guys.
babies.
They even made the sad kid sound. Mingo does that a few times, and it just breaks my heart.
All right, and then we come to the river here. Poor Chief Zephyr never saw it coming. Troyo is back from his banishment, and he has managed in a split second to completely tie up Zephyr here. I was trying to find a more intelligent word. Sorry. Poor Zephyr. I mean, I'm looking at the animation, and first off, it's just watching the animation every time just totally blows me away. But you just see this stunned look on his face, are you kidding me?
Could this day get any
Zephyr.
worse?
He cannot wait to retire. I don't think. He's just oh God, again. But while Zephyr is kind of tied up there, Troyo finally lets him know exactly how he feels and what his grand plan is, which is, one, he didn't appreciate being banished, and two, he's ready to get some revenge on Zephyr. And what could that revenge be? Well, I'll tell you what, it involves turning into a butterfly.
Very creative, but we'll say that.
Yeah.
Can there be a more horrible punishment? Really?
You are sentenced to eat flies for the rest of your life.
No thanks. So meanwhile, the kids are out and they still feel bad because they were the cause of the trouble, and they end up finding a clue as to where Zephyr is hidden. But of course, no one will listen to them because they're just kids, Jaquins. And so, little Jaquins. And so they're like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Kind of the classic trope where the kids find the thing, but then the grown-ups won't believe them, all that stuff. But Mingo ends up finding the trail, and Mig still won't listen, so Mingo decides to disobey and follow the trail himself because he's going to be the hero.
And flash to Zephyr and Troyo. Troyo's lugging Zephyr along, and he's just like, "You weigh a ton. What do Jaquins eat?" and Zephyr comes snap back. He snapped back on that. He's like, "Jaquins eat coyotes."
The deadpan was just perfect.
Yes, and it was just like, what a perfect thing to say. Like, Troy looked like so spooked. How very unfortunate for him.
Yes. And then, of course, Migs discovers that Mingo went after Troy alone, and cue the Kill Bill sirens because he panics.
Oh my god, I just pictured it.
Oh boy. I
We
love
need that
Migs.
name.
Yeah, so then we cut back to Troyo, who goes to buy Estrella, and he reveals he wants to be the king of Via Estrella. And I'm like,
Ambitious.
yeah, sure. Yeah, it's pretty ambitious. But like, he's a coyote, and is he a coyote? I'm not sure.
He
but
is a
like,
coyote.
yeah, and yeah, basically he has to deal with a bunch of Jaquins, even if he gets rid of Zephyr. It's like doubtful.
I would love to see him come toe to toe with King Virago.
Can you imagine? He just get his butt kicked, but
he would get eaten.
First summon song.
basically.
The battle we need. Song battle.
Oh man.
Oh, I would like to hear them sing.
Could be like King.
King Virago is rather imposing. All right, so, oh yeah, and then we got Mingo, who is hot on their trail. I think he's proving in a young age that he is pretty capable of being a guardian. He just lacks experience, and he's a baby. Yeah. And Migs is also hot on his trail. He's following him. He's in that panic state, like, oh my gosh, my son is after this dangerous creature, and also my chief is in danger. So
he's not having a good day.
Yeah, but it's gonna get better.
Yes. So Troyo reaches Grotto Matamo, the shape-shifting. Well, it's the cave because they're underneath the pond. I don't think we realize that it's the pond until the next episode with King Skylar. But, they get to the pond, and right before they go inside the cave, we have the classic throwback to, what was it? Was it Race for the Realm? Where we meet the cranky butterfly frog who only wants to
yes.
sunbathe.
Yes.
That's covering their sun.
You're blocking my sun!
Yeah, that's a perfect
lunar
imitation, in fact.
Yes, exactly. So we all remember this one very clearly. And this poor butterfrog just can't find a place to sunbathe. And I love how Troyo just like blinks at him and then starts mocking him. And this is really like the
bad move.
Right?
Only Luna can do that one.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I think this is really like the measure of a person or coyote's character when they start mocking people that they consider beneath them. Like, oh, what are you going to do to me, Butterfrog? Huh? Well, let me tell you. Spoiler alert, it does not go well for him later.
Oh, yeah. I'd agree on that.
Mm-hmm. So then, just like right at the end of that little scene, we see Mingo catches up with them, and Troyo sees him, and right as Migs gets on the scene, Troyo snatches up Mingo, takes Chief Zephyr, and drags them all into the cave, and this is a parent's absolute worst nightmare. Migs sees his baby taken by someone that he knows to be dangerous, and I can only imagine, like, with everything that had been happened, they'd been fighting that day. Well, kid fighting, but still, like, things have not been going well. He'd been annoyed with him. So just imagine, I can imagine just the feels that he was feeling, the guilt, the terror. So I know I'm looking way too deep into this children's cartoon, and I'm sorry.
Nah, don't worry. We are all in.
So makes it like, and they get inside the cave, and there's all these different little caves to go through, and he has no idea which way to go, and he just sort of is defeated. And this is where Elena's pep talk comes in again, but she actually gets through to him. And she tells him that he's a model of strength for the Guardians and a model of love for his family, for his children.
Aww.
And that was absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So this time it got through to him, and yeah, he was able to move forward.
So after that beautiful little heart-to-heart, in the meantime, Troyo finds the grotto, and he plans to shapeshift Chief Zephyr first. But Mix catches them because he sees the Inoki trail left by Mingo.
Yes.
Very smart.
Ooh.
It's sort of like a Hansel and Gretel-ish.
I love the continuity here with the Enoki berries.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I want to try one. They always look so good.
I know. What do they taste like?
So Megs catches up to them, and the butterfrog licks was it Troyo in the eye?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And then of
Gross.
course and Megs is terrifying when he's mad, and then he says Inoki Berry Blast, and of course it was a Inoki Berry Blast for the win.
Yes.
The butterfrog trips Troyo and turns him into a butterfrog. That's what you get.
Heaven.
Player being played.
Hell hath no wrath like an angry butterfrog.
Quote that.
Yes.
Team.
Can you cross stitch that into a pillow for me, Chrissy?
Amen.
I'll pay you.
So Elena, of course, rushes over and helps out Chief Zephyr. Miggs rushes over and snuggles his babies, and everyone is safe.
Sigh of relief.
I really felt for Miggs in this scene because, just being reunited with his little ones after all that, like Becky mentioned earlier, all that guilt for, you know what I mean? Because, I think as parents, you kind of like get reminded of that because, when you have those little, moments, special moments with your kids.
Special's a good word.
And, with kids, things can get out of hand pretty quickly. You know what I mean? If you don't be the, parent, the calm person.
Yes.
So even the little things you manage to say, that managed to come out, you would immediately think and, go, oh my God, I feel so bad for yelling that one time or, So even though they've never been in like mortal danger or anything like this, I can totally feel for Mace because that guilt sucks.
Exactly. Well
So I
said.
totally appreciate that little Jaquin snuggle that he has with his baby.
I love the Jaquin snuggles. They're so sweet.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, my heart.
They're so cute.
So after everyone is safe and sound and things are kind of getting back to normal, they go back to the ceremony, and Dulce shows up, which is very sweet because I love her too. And she comes, and then Chief Zephyr starts to give his speech. And it sounds like it's starting to go like really bad. But there's a surprise twist, and it turns out that he's announcing Miggs is going to be the new chief. So
Yay! We've been waiting for this so long!
I know, right? And Zephyr goes into detail and explains that Miggs' growth as a father translates well to leadership of the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So it all works out in his favor, despite the many bumps in the path. But
yes.
it's a good turnout.
It is.
Yay!
Yes. And
It is.
it's fun. Everyone's happy. And then as soon as they step outside, cue the surprise party. For Chief Zephyr. And I loved how they even had like a noblin there who turned the little crown to gold and did like little backflips.
That was genius.
I loved that.
Yes!
And
Way to use your resources.
yes, it's like that's just clever. And so Zephyr like glares at Migs, is like, "Didn't I tell you not to make a fuss?" And I love this line. I feel like it shows like just how Migs is developed just in this one episode, like with confidence, right? He's like, "Well, I'm sorry, sir, but my first act as chief is to make a big, big fuss over you." And
Aww.
I thought that was so sweet. And, just very like, anyway, Chief Zephyr did that kind of like old man grumble, like, "Ah, okay, fine." But he was really pleased.
It's very accurate.
It's so true though in life because we're like normally so modest, like, oh, don't worry about it. But it's just the little things like that. You're just like, oh my god, you guys do care.
Exactly. It's relatable.
Retiring be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So that was such a clover, positively perfect episode. And speaking of things Pawsome, girls, what were some of your fave moments? Okay, so my one I'll start off with was the song. Oh my lord. What a cute and catchy song. I know we'd been, like we said before, teased with some shots of the song for ages. So it was just so perfect to see it come to life. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jenny, what about you?
I enjoyed watching just these kids cause havoc. I mean, it was just, it's nice that it didn't happen to me for once. So, I'm just kidding. But they are absolutely adorable, and they really do make misbehaving look adorable. So I have to say, just watching the baby Jaquins in general is just like a total win for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cute. Okay, Amelia, what about you?
Okay, so I love the storyline and the plot, but I just gotta say, anytime the baby Jaquins are involved, I love them so much. I think I already mentioned that I love like cats and kittens, and they're basically the same thing, and so I just have a weakness for them, and I wanna adopt one, or at least be friends with one, I just want to Jaquin
Amelia,
in my
are you
life,
actually
guys.
Isabel?
She is in so many ways.
Yes.
Oh,
How lovely.
it's true. I won't even.
Amelia Bell. Enough said. Okay, Georgia, what about you?
All right, so it's definitely a mix between the song, which was amazing, and it's still ingrained into my brain. Well, the baby Jaquins, and as I said before in the start of the episode, I love the voice acting from the child voice actors. They're just so adorable, and
So
wow.
Mhm.
Yes, amazing. That's one great way to start your voice acting career, voicing baby kittens.
Amen, baby.
And also, I just have to say that I love the parent moments from Meeks and how relatable he is and how he gets frustrated and panics, but in the end of the day, he got to be the chief of the Jaquins. Like, he deserved that, guys. And I was waiting for that to happen for, like, I don't know, since season 2, early season 2. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm really happy about that.
Yay.
Becky, what about you?
Okay, so for me, it was the hugs, the family feels. I loved it, and I could totally feel for Migs as a dad. And like Jenny said, my kids have never been in mortal danger like that, but still, like, there's just on a less threatening level, it was still relatable. but seriously, the sweet hugs with the babies, like, I cry.
Oh, cute.
All right, girls. I think that's it for now. So thank you so much, ladies, because as always, you are amazing. And thank you to our listeners all over the world. You too are fantastic. We can't wait for you to join us next time. In the meantime, check us out on Twitter or Instagram for news, fun games, and resources you will not want to miss. And be sure to never miss an episode by clicking that little subscribe button on YouTube, iTunes, or SoundCloud. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us some feedback. We adore hearing from our listeners. Until next time, wings up, amigos. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Within